let's get into this. What's with the name?
Because the name. Everybody wants to know about the name.
Because I'm going to tell you. Big Chris calls it naked yoga all the time. And I'm like, no, we're not going to do naked yoga.
Yeah. There's a lot of questions about the name. A lot of calls, like inquiry.
So, best.
So the name is really about being vulnerable with folks, and starting a business it's a project, and you gotta really open yourself up for people to see you, which is way out of my comfort zone. And so that's really what it was about, and it does draw some attention.
Hey,
and that's okay, a little bit. People
right?
are like, I don't know about that, but they get into it, and there's people that were already there before me that were really opening their hearts to each other and forming a community already. And that's really what the name is about, is just keeping people open to being together and sharing who they are with each other.
That's awesome. Well,
their clothes on.
Yeah. So what was behind your decision to buy it? Like, because it was what, Sage?
It was Sage, and I was teaching there for a couple of years. And when it was going to close, I couldn't.
You couldn't let it go.
Couldn't let it go, and she completely closed, and then I completely opened. I didn't take over her business or anything like that, or any of her assets. So it's the same space and a lot of the same people and similar vibe, but she had her passion and I have some of mine, and so there's been some variation there. But yeah, I didn't really let it go. I always kind of had in the back of my mind that I'd like to have a studio one day somewhere down the line, maybe if it works out.
Right.
And the best decisions are the impulsive ones.
Right.
So I was like, I'm gonna do this.
Right. We automatically felt at home, and it's no mistake that the universe brought us together, and that's why I wanted to make sure that we did a spotlight on you, because you were one of the first people, which you wouldn't think that a yoga studio would be one of the first places to welcome somebody,
right.
But it is. If that's what you consider home is your practice, then you're going to seek out a yoga studio or something to try to put down roots. And so we're very fortunate to be considered as, though we don't go to the adult classes, we do go to the one at the farmer's market. So what would the future of Naked Heart Yoga look like if there was no bottom line to consider, and you were just chasing the joy? Like, funding was just
as much as you can
yeah
have. Man, not having to cancel would be, not having to cancel due to low attendance,
right.
Having classes all the time, even if it's just one person, every type of variety we can have. People say you need to find a niche and get into it, and that is true, but I would like everybody to experience yoga and to experience it in like you said, like a home where they don't feel like they have to change who they are to be able to go there.
Right.
We get a lot of that, like, I'm not skinny enough, or I'm not flexible, so I can't go yet.
Right.
Or, I even have people that are close to me that know the studio and know me, but, I need to lose 20 pounds before I can go,
Right.
Having so many options in the studio and outside of the studio where people can come exactly the way they are, and just keeping that going. And for me and for the other teachers to really be able to invest more time and energy into what we have already, that would be
right.
the future.
Right.
We don't want to be crazy big. We don't want to be a chain or anything like that, but we just want what we have to be sustainable and long-lasting
and accessible to those that want to.
For more people.
Right. And that is not lofty by any means to try to incorporate those things into a practice. It's almost like, some people, they don't realize that because we try to separate our yoga practice from religion, but yoga really is.
The lifestyle.
It's kind of, I mean, with it's religion without the religion. Like, it is a community. It is a family-like environment that accepts you. I mean, that's what religion is supposed to do. I'm not going to get out of soapbox.
Okay.
But, like, the perfect aspect of that is for everyone to find their own individual place. And yoga is that, you know, everybody can practice at a different level, and there's always accommodations to be made. And, you know, and some days it's just sitting on the mat, feeling the presence of everyone else, because you're not able to do some of the poses, and not to judge yourself.
And some days it's not even on your mat, it's just out in your life where you are able to be coherent in the decisions that you're making instead of just
being present,
floating around.
Right.
This is what's happening today.
Right.
You know, being able to breathe and contribute to your family in a meaningful way instead of just I guess this is what's been happening for the last 20 years and I've been checked out for it. I don't know. This is where we are now. I don't remember any of it.
There's a lot of people that have gotten there. By default, for sure.
Are you freezing me?
Yeah.
Oh no. You better go freeze this.
Are you going to unfreeze her?
Right. No.
I think
for the rest of her life.
So, what are some of your interests outside of Naked Heart? Yeah.
Well, I like art.
I have witnessed that.
Really invested in a hobby for a while and just get really into it.
I saw that you enjoy sewing, which that is another thing that we have in common.
I'm getting into it a little bit, if I can stop busting out my sewing machine. It's a struggle. You know, if I see something that I'm interested in, I kind of think like, oh, I could try it. I mean, why not, you know?
Right.
Or taking a hike with the kids. People, I don't like to think like I never did something that I wanted to do just because I didn't know how. You know?
Right.
You can YouTube it, you can look it up, you know,
right.
Anything I try to.
Right.
If I'm a little interested, I'll give it a go.
And that's
I like to learn things.
That may be something that's overflowed from yoga, because, I mean, when you start yoga, you realize, oh my gosh, how are they getting in these positions? But then it's the practice.
It just feels right.
It's right. And then you're allowed to develop into those positions. And so you've taken that out into your life.
Yeah.
And so it doesn't matter how you start, as long as you start.
Yeah.
That's the big thing.
And then if you try something and you don't like it, now you know.
That's right. That's right. So, where would the community maybe see you outside? Like, where are some of your other hangout spots besides
the studio?
Yeah.
They would catch me at the farmers market.
Mm-hmm.
We have a community class at the Jessi Center.
At the farm, right?
Yes,
that's when that is.
Farm. Aside from that, we live in Elwood, so we're always taking the kids to the park. Sometimes we take them to mounds. We don't mind to drive, really. If there's something that we want to try out or do, we don't mind to go a little bit outside of where we need to go. Like to do a lot of family walks with kids. That's what they like to do, is to walk to the fountain and look at the fountain, like that, or things like that.
Okay. So you are in the process of becoming a massage therapist, right?
That's correct.
And so what does that look like for Naked Heart? Like, is that something that is going to be incorporated
That is
with
the question. I would really like to see it incorporated. I would like to see like a yoga massage class from time to time. I would like to have my own massage practice. I don't know if that will live within the studio. I certainly like to work with Josh, who has his own massage practice right next door. So that's still up in the air. I've got a long while before I get all my clinics done. Maybe several months. So as I move along and I get, what am I gonna be good at?
Right.
And what strengths do I have in this practice and yoga that I can bring together and figure it out from there.
Okay. So that's something that we have to look forward to from you and the studio. Maybe some sort of combination thing that you're going to come up with that has never been done before, which is really cool that could happen. So any changes that you plan to make that have been in place for so long, and you're thinking because you've had some growing pains, just learning the ropes as far as being a new studio owner, is there something that...
Yeah, I mean, I don't know if it's a major change, but over the course, there's just boundaries, and knowing your value, and not saying yes to everything because you feel like you have to, because you want to get your name out there, but at some point it stops being working for yourself at that point, and you're just grinding to get your classes, and it's too much. So at some point you have to push back and actually maybe we can meet in the middle on how you want to do this type of class. How can this benefit you and also benefit the studio? How can we get more people to it but not kill myself or the teachers?
Right.
That's an ongoing. I think any new teacher, I hadn't been teaching all that long before I took on the studio. Any new teacher probably goes through that.
Right.
It's painful. That's smaller thing. I'm like,
a bug.
You get excited. You get excited. And when I was going through my yoga teacher training and shortly after, I would never have fathomed that the people that were teaching me were not financially, that value wasn't there. It absolutely was. I thought, oh my gosh, I wish they were charging more, I would pay more for these classes. But then when you become a teacher, somehow that doesn't connect. You're like, oh, well, I can just do it.
Right.
And I wanted everyone to be able to do this,
right.
And eventually you gotta okay, but also myself is
right.
important too.
Right.
So I think that is an ongoing
battle. And that is everyone's battle, isn't it? To know the worth and to accept that not everybody's going to get you, but those that do, and you being your authentic self is going to bring in those others that are going to see your value and then pay it. That is the thing that we all struggle with, is that initial, that I have to prove my worthiness, but in reality you were worthy all along. So I'm excited to see what you're going to do, because I see a little bit of a younger me in you.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, just a little. But, when you're 55 and you're portly still doing yoga, I could see you definitely, you love the practice that much that you're still going to be doing it.
I hope so.
Oh, well.
But, I mean, you say that, I don't even think about my physical body being able to continue on for that years, but if I continue doing yoga, what would make me not, even if pieces of the physical part of it have to drop off, or, every now and then I'll get a little twinge in my wrist. Maybe I cut a couple down dogs. That doesn't mean my yoga practice had to stop.
Right.
There's a lot more to it.
Right.
So.
And that's what I need to hear from my younger self, is that, so cut a couple downward dogs out. Don't quit altogether. Yeah. All right. Well, I appreciate you meeting with us. The kids are having a ball.
Yeah.
And I look forward to see what is next for all of us, because I think that we're going to do some cool things together. Doers Raising Doers is me as Granny Chrissy, because you have all of my art at your, well, not all of my art, but you have a lot of my art in your studio right now. So it'll be interesting to see this next chapter. Okay, bye.
Cat.